squid. For those of you who thought yesterday's episode was weird, let it be known that I used to write normal episodes, then I took an arrow in the knee. Writing weirdly is simply my response to writer's block. Instead of just slapping down some stale, unfunny crap, I heap on the weirdness in an attempt to obscure the general lack of writing finesse. If people find the episode to be not to their liking, they'll jump on the over-the-top weirdness as the reason why they disliked it. And I'd rather have someone dislike an episode for something I intentionally did as opposed to something I unintentionally did. The weird episode technique is a significant improvement over my original plan, the stare and make an occasional nervous sound technique. Which suddenly strikes me as also weird. Heck, it's win-win, baby. Good afternoon, butt kickers. It's December 5, the 339th day of 2011, which means that 78 years ago today, the era of alcohol prohibition in the United States officially ended. Yes, I know I've used this topic like 3 times. I guess I just like alcohol. I used to avoid repeating topics. Then I took an arrow in the knee. Anyway, that means that 78 years ago today, people came to the mature realization that alcohol is not, in and of itself, an evil entity. I fear, however, that people have yet to come to the true realization that intoxication is merely an illusion, a state of mind constructed by society to mask the true powers of alcohol. Most people just assume that what they feel after consuming mass quantities of alcohol is this so-called intoxication, but it's actually something much more. There is, in fact, an alternate universe that almost overlaps precisely with our own, but it's off by a few feet. And this so-called double vision that so-called drunk people experience is actually a glimpse into that alternate, practically parallel universe. And these potent potables that our society has so nearsightedly restricted consumption of are the means of transportation between these two universes. Here's where it gets interesting. These two universes, they're almost parallel, but not quite. So, by definition, they must intersect. So where do they intersect, you ask? Here's a clue. 66 years ago today, that would be December 5, 1945, Flight 19, a training flight of 5 TBM Avenger bombers, disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle. Shortly thereafter, a search and rescue Mariner aircraft went looking for the missing Flight 19 and also mysteriously vanished. And so it's practically confirmed. The Bermuda Triangle is the portal, and booze is the key. Clearly, all pilots and crew of Flight 19 were blitzed out of their minds. I mean, if I was going to fly an aircraft, that would be my first step. So instead of sinking or effervescing or whatever else people have hypothesized caused the many disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, they actually just skipped into the almost parallel universe. Of course, that would mean that the almost parallel version of themselves would also skip into our universe, where apparently the shock was too great and they proceeded to sink into the ocean. So, it's basically the same as what everyone's been saying so far, just crazier. Still, it'd be cool to see the almost parallel universe, although I have a sinking feeling that it would be disappointingly similar. I would go myself, but I took an arrow in the knee. Until tomorrow, I'm Griff, and I'm still talking.